Welcome to the second Getting Started tutorial for Prefab Layer Painter. In this tutorial, we'll cover dynamic layer generation. We'll change some rules and see the changes, and even start creating a complete biome. In the previous video, we created a layer and a rule set for palm trees, then painted some palm trees. Now we'll change properties in that rule set and dynamically update the layer. Select the Prefab Layer Painter game object. Make sure the layer is highlighted. Then select Edit in the layer properties. You can also click the small icon on the layer itself to edit its rule set. The rule set currently contains a terrain tree scatter module. Open the module and look under Add Rules. These rules control the placement, rotation, and scale of spawned prefabs. You can add or remove rules, expand them, and change each rule's properties. The palm trees are currently being placed in the water, so add a placement height rule to limit their minimum placement height. Set the minimum height to 10, then click Generate Selected Layer. The module also has a slope rule enabled by default, which prevents trees from appearing on mountains. If you disable the slope rule and regenerate the layer, trees will appear on the slopes. Re-enable it and regenerate the layer to restore the restriction. To increase the tree density, change the cell size from 4 to 3. Cell size controls the distance between trees. A smaller value places them closer together. Regenerate the selected layer to see the result. Rename this first module Palm Trees. Clear names make modules easier to identify in the hierarchy. Add another terrain tree scatter module and name it Bushes. In the example content, open Tropical Island Assets, Prefabs, and then Vegetation. Select the 5 plant prefabs and drag them into the green Drop Prefabs Here box. Select the Prefab Layer Painter game object and generate the selected layer to spawn the new objects. Add a placement height rule to the Bushes module and set the minimum height to 10 so the bushes stay out of the water. Decrease the cell size to place them closer together, then regenerate the layer. Adjust the palm trees module's minimum height to 13 to move the trees a little farther from the shoreline. This rule set is effectively creating a biome. The placement is currently restricted to the painted portion of the mask, but the height and slope rules already determine where objects should appear. Let's do something crazy. In the layer properties, under the mask preview, click Fill. This will fill the entire mask with white for that layer. This means all the terrain will be affected by this layer. Some areas will contain mostly small vegetation because of the different height limits. To make those areas look more natural, add a placement noise rule to the Bushes module. Increase the noise scale and adjust the threshold until the bushes form a more natural scattered pattern. Set the bush's minimum height to 11. Add another terrain tree scatter module and name it Boulders. Terrain trees are more efficient than placing individual prefab game objects across the map, even though these assets are rocks rather than trees. They still behave as solid objects while benefiting from the terrain system's optimization. Keep the module's default slope and random scale rules. In the example content, open Tropical Island Assets, Prefabs, and then Boulders. Select the boulder prefabs and drag them into the green Drop Prefabs Here box. Generate the selected layer to preview them. Add a height rule with a minimum height of 5 to avoid generating unused boulders deep underwater. Reduce their overall scale and decrease the cell size to create more smaller boulders. Add a placement noise rule and increase its scale to make the distribution look more natural. Increase the scale variation by setting the random scale's minimum to 0.1, then regenerate the layer. Each prefab has a weight that controls how often it is selected. Reduce the weights of the spiky boulder prefabs so they remain in the distribution but appear less frequently. You can use the same technique on the bushes. For example, reduce the weights of the colored plants so fewer red bushes appear. You can also add rule overrides to individual prefabs. In the Palm Trees module, locate a tree prefab and click Add Rule Override, then add a random scale override. This replaces the module's random scale rule for that single asset. Set its minimum scale to 0.5 and maximum scale to 1.5 to give that tree a wider size range without making it look unrealistic. Add another terrain tree scatter module and name it Cliff Boulders. Add the boulder prefabs to it and generate the layer. Modify the slope rule so it does the opposite of the default behavior. Regenerate the layer to see the boulders appear on the cliffs. Increase the cliff boulder's scale by 4. Remove the spiky boulder prefabs if they don't suit the cliffs. Add a height rule with a minimum height of 5, so boulders are not generated deep underwater. If the boulders stick too far out of the ground, add a transform offset rule, set the Y offset to -1, and regenerate. This embeds them more naturally in the terrain. Finally, change the cell size to 2 to place them closer together. This workflow dynamically modifies the entire terrain at once. To demonstrate, use the terrain tools to raise and lower sections of the terrain, then return to Prefab Layer Painter and generate the selected layer. The prefab placement updates to match the modified terrain. The terrain textures do not update in this example because the layer does not yet have a layer texture module. We will learn that in the next tutorial. This concludes the tutorial. You should now have an idea of what you can accomplish by dynamically changing and editing layer rules. In the next video, Tutorial 3, we'll cover painting terrain textures with Prefab Layer Painter.